I always think about that women from the 1940s and 50s would like laugh at us today because like they'd be like, "Oh, you left because you weren't happy." My man had a whole family across town and I stayed. You know what I mean? Like that used to happen. Like families would meet at funerals. And even I have some relatives that like kind of, stayed together through cheating and like all this stuff, but like nowadays like girls will just leave because they're not happy. Which is crazy, especially when you have kids. It's not about you.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think men have any incentive anymore to get married. Like, because initially men would marry for sex because women want a commitment. And women, they wouldn't give sex unless there was a commitment. And then they want someone that can cook and clean and maintain a home that's good with children. And a lot of women don't want children. And they wanted purity, like they wanted a virgin.
Marriage is a modern woman's side hustle. To divorce is to cash out on her husband's assets and half his pension, 401k, child support, and alimony. But men aren't saying no. Men are saying no to the inevitable divorce, child support, and alimony routine. The women who are fuming about this are the ones who are mad about having a pension plan through a man when she divorces him. Women are fuming because they know they'll have to actually work to generate resources to live their lives. They're fuming because their tickets to a life where they could spend without earning are soon going to be over. More men are getting their passports going overseas, so the pension plan is drying up for them. These modern-day women only quote and follow quotes that benefit them. When it comes to doing their part, they have an opinion about it and have to speak out. You can't bring up how your father, grandfather, great-grandfather, they were and what they brought to the marriage. On the other hand, when women's roles are brought up, it's crickets. All throughout history, we continue to change and evolve to fit our environment. This is no different. Marriage is dead, and that's okay. Avoiding pain, suffering, and one's ability to live peacefully is paramount to one's survival. It's a new era for men. Uncharted waters, so to speak. It's time for men to evolve with the new times. It's not hatred, and it's not being unkind. It's a matter of survival. It's not about revenge. Don't keep up hope that anything will change back to what it was. It won't. That ship has sailed. Be strong, be at peace, be men. And you know what? With these declining marriage rates, modern women could change this overnight. Become fit, feminine, and friendly, and bring a prenup to the table, protecting a man's assets and resources if there is a divorce. Women, show good faith in that you are not just there for his current and future assets. A new study by the National Center for Family and Marriage Research has revealed that marriage in the United States has declined by nearly 60% in the last 5 decades. Until divorce law is reformed, marriages will continue to decline. That's what feminism, spoiled people, indoctrination, and government policies have done to marriage. Not a difficult thing to reason out. It's important to note that as marriage goes, so goes the nation. Strong families are the foundation of any society. Hedonism always takes its toll. Women do not mature faster than men. They excel at social dynamics, and social dynamics are heavily rewarded through middle and high school, whereas nothing men excel at is rewarded. Additionally, women learn early that they have something men want, and they learn to manipulate men to take advantage of it. It is predatory, not more mature. Men could be just as predatory as women, but the law and social mores clamp down heavily on men's natural tendencies. The only time in life a relationship is of value to a man is if it is with the mother of his children, for the purpose of raising those children in a safe, kind, functional environment. To do that, you need a woman who is nurturing, selfless, pure, youthful, and loyal. If you even manage to find a woman like that in modern society, you still should not marry them. Live together, but offshore your assets and place them in the custody of a family member you can trust. If the woman will not commit to this agreement in place, even when you are providing for the needs of the family, then she is the wrong person. Unless you're a masochist, there isn't a single reason for wanting to get married, and you just have to look around to see how it ends. At best, you come out mentally broken and impoverished. At worst, you're left with nothing. Seeing how the situation is, I'm not surprised that men are saying no to marriage. Men are saying no to gold-digging, narcissistic vampires who bleed them dry economically, mentally, and physically. Men are saying yes to attaining personal success, peace, happiness, and tranquility. Blessings to all the men who have woken up to reality and have put value on themselves. Men, in particular young men, have seen their dads, brothers, uncles, cousins, and other males get completely annihilated by marriage and divorce. So, You cannot blame this new smart generation of men who are avoiding this terrible pitfall at all costs. Marriage is on life support or near death in America, and until the laws change, don't expect a resurrection anytime soon. Let's not ever forget that a man can get by on very little. They are required to work harder to maintain a woman. This extra work has to be worth the effort. Having someone who brings no value to your life, no emotional safety or meaningful intimacy, constant pressure to perform in multiple areas of life to prove your manhood, constant fear of betrayal and your sacrifices spit on. It's just not worth the effort. The juice is not worth the squeeze. The truth is that there are men who still want marriage, but modern women in America and the rest of the West are not marriage material. Only traditional women possess the qualities men are looking for, since feminism classes in college teach them to be the complete opposite of what they should be or do for a man. But overseas in the East, the norm remains the traditional marriage, so the passport bros movement has become our clear choice for marriage. By the time most of us are gone, they won't have a choice but to share the top 10% with millions of other women, guaranteeing not ever been in a committed relationship or be in a same-gender marriage, since 50% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 years old will be single and childless by 2030. A winter storm is coming for modern women, and they need to dress up for it. If we think about it, marriage was not developed or instituted by man. It was made by God not only for procreation, but to show the beautiful relationship between a man and a woman. The reason why things fail is because man has strayed from the God-given explanation and definition of things, and marriage is one of them. It's all about accepting the times you are living in. Older women generations accepted they were married for life and died surrounded by grandsons. The only thing that modern women have to do is to accept they're going to run successful careers and die surrounded by cats. We know what marriage could be, what it was supposed to be. We didn't change the rules of the game, and we didn't cheapen it to mean just one day to prance around in a disposable big-money wedding dress either. It is this knowledge in the face of prevailing pop culture attitudes that has rendered us indifferent to the proposition of marriage. The one reason the flapping heads dance around and ignore every time the subject is brought up. The worst thing is that the only type of men modern women want these days are the ones who are economically and financially attractive to them. Economically attractive men. Naturally, it's not all. Those women are also demanding that men be over 6 feet tall, well-endowed, have an athletic build, and make that six-figure income. When she gets bored, she just takes half of what he has and moves on to the next guy. And if there are kids involved, it doesn't have to be his kids either. Equality is only for the benefits, but those that are actually equal are non-existent in family courts, which still use those older traditional family structures to determine a housewife isn't capable of working. We know what marriage could be, what it was supposed to be. We didn't change the rules of the game, and we didn't cheapen it to mean just one day to prance around in a disposable big-money wedding dress either. It is this knowledge in the face of prevailing pop culture attitudes that has rendered us indifferent to the proposition of marriage. The one reason the flapping heads dance around and ignore every time the subject is brought up. Men are not done, to be honest. It's just that there are no ladies left anymore. Women do not want to submit to the order of life. Then you have weak men who allow the woman to run all over them and dominate and lead. Women resent that. Media, of course, does not help but adds fuel to the already fire. And when you talk about the justice system, how can you let the fate of your life rest in the hands of a single person? Justice in the hands of a single judge? Ruining the lives of the children and the man, these judges should be taught some humanity too before giving them the authority to decide a divorce. But you know what? Why should I or anyone be with someone who only sees me as a transaction? She won't cook for me, she won't clean up, and she won't provide me children that are actually mine, yet she will expect me to pay most, if not all, of the costs of living. And she will nag and browbeat me into doing what she thinks I'm obligated to do for her. And then there's a greater than 50% chance that she will divorce me and cost me even more money. The wives are the majority of divorce filers, and no matter who does, the courts put more emphasis on whatever she says, and men must prove beyond the shadow of a doubt their side. And even that doesn't seem to be sufficient. Then there's child support, which no proof of biological parentage needed to force him to pay. Always wondered how the court puts a value on what it costs to raise a kid, but it's always the father who pays that figure. It's not halved, so the mother is responsible for half that. Then there are those kids of the more successful men who miraculously need $10K plus per month to survive. Really? No, There are very few, if any, benefits for men to enter into any long-term relationship in Western culture. It's better odds to play the lottery. The problem is women think because a friend of a friend of a friend had some rich dude buy her stuff to get in her pants or marry her, then automatically that it's going to happen to them without realizing the 1% that managed it is a 20. Without makeup, she's a 4 that keeps telling herself that she's a 10 in her delusional coping daily to not accept she doesn't qualify for a man like that. Be it because she is not attractive enough or has no redeeming qualities at all, but rather the opposite. Be it a bad attitude, masculine traits, poor behavior, or just tons of baggage with high expectations, she can't fill herself. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support, so please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.